Good morning. It's Thursday, December 8th, and I'm not going to talk about Warnock's victory, which was very important for the Democratic Party, and I'm not going to talk about the first picture taken of Earth way back in 1972. That's the picture I opened this rant with. That's a picture of the blue marble, as they called it in those days. So those are two historic events in my mind, but I'm not going to talk about them. I want to talk about Apple being sued by two women because of one of the helpful devices that Apple had developed for people to use to keep track of the little things in our lives. Things like keys or glasses or other small objects, or maybe a wallet or a laptop or something like that, that we tend to misplace quite often because we're in a rush in our lives and we empty our pockets and we put these things down, and then at the end of the day we're looking for them and we can't find them. And so Apple created something called the AirTag, and the AirTag will track the whereabouts of any item that you choose to put it on because it's important. How many times in your lives have you woken up and rushing to get out of the house or something and you can't find your car keys? Or you can't find your glasses when you got to read a recipe or something important is going. So Apple gets sued because two women had romantic partners that used this device to track their whereabouts. Now, is Apple responsible for the activities of the users of their products? Was this device designed to be a lookout, a tracker? Was this meant to keep track of people? I think not. And so if we have advancements, and many in society choose to use those advancements for something that borders on being illegal, is the company that produced those advancements responsible for the activities of the people who choose those devices? Choose to use those devices illegally? I don't think so. I've devised something to help humanity, and then some people misuse it, and then they want to hold me responsible for the activities of people who have figured out a way to criminalize my product. I don't think that's right. I don't think that suit should go anywhere. But this is a litigious society we live in. And so these two women are suing Apple because their boyfriend and their ex-husband chose to use these devices to track their whereabouts, so that they invaded their privacy to some extent. Now, in the one case, the ex-husband who had been harassing her and challenging her about her whereabouts placed the AirTag in her child's backpack. Now, I don't know how that works when, the child might be away from the parent or something like that. Or maybe this is a very young child who was never out of the parent's sight. That could be the situation in that case. In the case of the boyfriend, they placed the AirTag in the wheel well of her car, so that wherever she drove, he would know where her whereabouts were. And these AirTags identify your location on a map or some other way, right? So now we have a helpful tool that several have taken advantage of and used in a way that it was not meant to be used. And that's a disgrace when you think about it. So I have something that I have created for the good of society, and it's being abused. Because tracking somebody without their consent is not right. It's not right. And so Apple is being sued because somebody misused their product. Somebody took advantage of their product to do something that I will call spying. And I will say that I think this is marginally illegal. But then this crazy thought jumps into my head. If Apple were to lose this suit, What would happen to the gun manufacturers in this country who are producing weapons of destruction? And they don't get sued. They can't get sued. There are laws against suing them. So how can Apple get sued for producing a product that is a helpful product? When it's abused, why should Apple be sued? When somebody abuses the fact that they have a gun, the gun manufacturers are protected because there are laws against suing the gun manufacturers. Why is that the case? Just looking at that comparison makes it impossible for Apple to lose this suit. But knowing society, they could conceivably lose this suit. And then it'll come all the way up to the Supreme Court. And that would be very interesting if the Supreme Court is looking at Apple's product, the AirTag, the same way they look at guns. Because we're saying guns, you can't hold the manufacturer responsible for what people do with those guns. So can Apple be held responsible for what somebody does with the AirTag? I don't think that's a feasible thing. I don't even know why somebody is allowing this suit to go forward. But maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it's a good thing because if people can look at this suit and make the comparison that I just made between the AirTag and the gun, maybe something better will happen in this world, our world. Not the whole world. The whole world is not the gun-happy place that we are. So it was a very interesting story, and I twisted it to my own devices at the end because nowhere in the article do they talk about guns. It is talking about the AirTag and the misuse of the AirTag. But I believe that leads to other things. So I leave that with your thoughts this morning, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.